balancing vocal tension. If you want to take one-on-one lessons with me, drop me an email or go to my website and book directly. Links in the description. So far too often I'm working with students and this idea of, but I'm feeling tension. I'm pulling chest voice, like I feel tension. It must be wrong. This type of sentiment. And I think the whole concept of tension for singers is firstly deeply misunderstood and secondly deeply mistaught. There's a lot of information out there that I'm just like, what is this? It doesn't make any sense to me. Tension for singers could be good, could be desirable, or it could be bad. The answer is it depends on the tension. And frankly, the better I've gotten at singing, the more tension I've found and the more tension I've had the confidence in grabbing hold of. The problem is not tension or lack of tension or too much tension. The truth is you need a lot of tension to sing high. Simple as that. That's not the issue. The issue for people is efficiency in that tension. And what I mean by that is when a singer is using their voice inefficiently, when they try and engage the right tension, they also engage the wrong tension. So they have different types of tension engaging at the same time. Now, as your skill improves, what happens is, if you're working correctly at your voice and you understand the process that you need to go through, is you start isolating the right muscles more and you start relaxing the wrong muscles more. So you isolate and engage the right muscles more, shall I say, and you relax everything else. And through this process, the encouragement or the goal is to begin to engage more and more tension whilst keeping everything else relaxed. When you think about it this way, you start to understand tension differently, because in order for those vocal cords to stretch and lengthen, the cricothyroid muscles have to engage, they have to squeeze. And the more stretch, the more height, the more range you want to get, the more they have to squeeze to lengthen those cords further and further. That's the reality of it. Just like if I'm lifting up a heavy weight, the more weight I'm lifting, you can't even see my hand in this shot. Let me get here. The more weight that I'm lifting here, the more muscle tension you're going to feel here. Yeah, this weight can be linked to the connection of the vocal cords. If they connect firmly, you're going to feel tension here. And this is the tension that people are like, oh, I show them the tension. They're like, oh yeah, but I'm feeling tension. I'm like, yeah, that is the tension you need. What they're feeling when they're inefficient learning singers is they feel this and they feel this squeezing as well. This is the tension we don't want. The tension outside of the larynx that begins to grab. This, yeah? The process is this. As we get better, this starts to let go and relax. And this starts to gain confidence and engage more. Then as we add weight to the vocal cords, as we add more compression into the sound, this needs to have more and more tension. And at first what happens is the more tension that we encourage at first, the more likely this is to want to grab. But as we get more and more efficient, the more this lets go more and more, the more we can engage tension in the right muscles before we have outer muscles starting to interfere. And eventually you can get full tension in the vocal cord muscles without any interference at all. This tension is correct tension. We need it. We have to hold on to it for dear life. In all honesty, that's what I feel, yeah? Especially for bigger voices, you have to have a lot of that tension in order to get into head voice with competence and confidence and in a convincing way, especially on a compressed sound. That being said, the journey we have to go through is figuring out, well, is this the tension I need, or is this the tension that Carl says I don't need? The only way to start filtering through the different muscles that may or may not be needed when you sing is to just dive in and work at your technique. You can't go from inefficient external muscles getting in the way to, super efficient engagement and isolation of the right muscles, like that. For most people, if they've got that outer muscle engagement, there's a process where at first any engagement of the right muscles and they clamp. Then over time, they can start getting a little bit of wiggle room and they don't clamp as much. They still clamp at a certain threshold, but they've got a bit of wiggle room there. And so on and so on. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Eventually, complete isolation and tension-free singing. But that tension is not, like I said, it's not tension-free. There's a lot of tension there. The ultimate goal is to be able to isolate and use your voice in an efficient way. And if you can get to that point, then you have real confidence in holding on without the fear of, oh, I'm going to hurt myself. Oh, is that pulling chest? Oh, I've got tension. I don't want tension. Yeah. And rolling this all back to the orthodoxy of voice coaching, a lot of the dogma out there is, you don't want to feel any tension and you need to keep an open throat. Yes and no. The problem you'll find is singers who've always had this correct tension, and frankly, some singers find it at a young age easily and they just have it. To them, no tension is that tension. But to somebody who's never used the right muscles, in their world, any tension is bad tension. Any tension is, I'm holding on. So the whole idea and concept of tension is relative. You've got to be very, very careful about what it is you're even understanding when somebody talks about, we do want tension when we sing. We've got to isolate and balance that tension. And that's really the point of this video, is just to say, look, understand this whole concept of tension in the voice is more complicated than you've been told. It takes more time to work through, and it takes a lot of experience to fully understand. If you can just get to that point of understanding this video in this way, you're going to have a big advantage over other learning singers who don't have this context. That's it for this video, guys. Again, if you want to take voice lessons, drop me an email. Go book and buy directly through my website. I'll catch you again soon. Take care. Bye.